It's a beautiful Wednesday, February 11th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, cool raps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. And we've reached an interesting part of the college football calendar.
Yes, we have.
This is when we start leaning on the guests, Ted.
That's right. That's right. We got a little bit of the content machine is getting maintenance right now and ready to start gearing up again for the spring.
Oh, but don't worry. We're lining up the guests, baby. Football, right. Some other guests as well. Maybe try to expand this thing a little bit, dip our toe in some other waters.
Okay.
Should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I'm trying to get Chris Goddard up on the podcast. I'm working hard. I'm working hard. That guy's on fire on the PGA Tour. I'm like, we got to get this guy on here.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get him on right now.
Yeah, tweet Goddard up and tell him, hey, you got to come on with Teddy and Gabe. That would be helpful, I think.
We know he's on social media. We know he's scanning around. We've seen his work.
Oh, fantastic. But yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of different people on here over the next couple months. And then it'll be spring ball time, and then we can really dive in. You know, that's when this thing really gets cranked back up. But don't worry, we're gonna have plenty of stuff to talk about on here. Speaking of which, let's get straight to it, Ted. Here's our guy, Josh McCuistion. It is our pleasure to be joined by the heart and soul of SoonerScoop.com. Josh McCuistion is in the house. What's going on, big guy?
Not a lot, guys. Again, my favorite intros every year, and I need to cut it and just show it to the guys just so they make sure they know. But no, always excited to be here with you guys.
We'll put a whole video together of all the intros, just stack them on top of each other. What's it like out there right now? I know that, you know, the transfer portal season is for the most part wrapped up. You got the 37 recruiting stuff going heavy. I guess junior day stuff's probably about to go down. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, you know, it is. It's kind of that first time we've been able to take a breath since like October, you know, with obviously the craziness that became the season and all the playoff run and the push toward that. Then obviously immediately you pivot into signing day for 26. Transfer portal starts almost immediately. This is the first time we're I can't even imagine, for me, it's busy. For you guys, it's busy. For the coaches and everything, they have to be getting as much vacation time as they can possibly squeeze in there, if at all possible. It's been nuts, but it also is a sign, like, I know they've got multiple big visit weekends coming up in March. I mean, they're going to be busy again. And, you look at the start, I know we're going to talk about it, but 2027 is off to just a massive start. It's the best class at this point in the game that Brent Venables has had. So, I mean, they're going to hope to keep building on that.
I certainly want to talk about the 2027 momentum, Josh, but let's talk about the current roster before we do that. I know that you take a close look at all of the transfer portal additions. There's the rankings, there's all those things for people to look at. But when you look at the 16 guys that OU has added from the portal up to this point, who's your favorite guy in the class?
Guys, it's going to sound like an echo chamber because I know one you guys love, and I heard you guys talking about the other day, Kenny Ozawalu. Like that, I certainly acknowledge you guys and your experience goes far beyond mine. But when I watch that dude, it doesn't take a lot where you're like, oh, okay, I can see a path where this guy's pretty special. I love I love versatile players. Like I love guys that okay, in this situation he could do this. You look at OU going this year with the loss of Grayson Halton. Where does that pass rush on the inside come about? We know David Stone and Jaden Jackson are outstanding talents, but are they the pass rusher that Grayson Halton was? No, probably not. So could you do some stuff where you slide him inside? And again, I think the ultimate goal is for him to be a defensive tackle, and I know you guys have talked about that as well. But like, he just provides you with a lot of wiggle room where, okay, maybe he didn't get to the exact way we wanted to. We can work him a little at DN. We can do some stuff there. But in a 3rd and long or late in a game, we can put him inside, and that quickness, that ability, that pays off. I mean, I really like this class as a whole from the portal. I think it showed a lot of what this front office staff was there for. I mean, like they had clear designs on guys. There was obviously a lot of intent in a lot of the guys they chased. I mean, Kenny was a guy that was part of the class almost as soon as you knew OU was pursuing him. It just happened really fast. So I really like what they did. I think they filled a lot of holes and answered a lot of their questions.
That's my favorite. I think he's got maybe the highest ceiling of anyone. We'll see what happens with it, obviously. What about it? That's the defensive side. I know that's your pick overall, but if you dial into the offense, who's your favorite on the offensive side?
I'm gonna avoid pandering to Gabe because I didn't watch Peyton Joseph, and then Gabe went off about it, and I went and watched the same clips he watched. And you're like, wow, okay, yeah, like there's some stuff there, but
it's a very exciting 4 plays, Josh.
It's ridiculous how excited you can get about that little data, but it's interesting. But I mean, you've got to look to me at the tight end room, guys. And I know you talked about it all last season, and certainly we did over at Scoop. But it was just there was so much that I thought was placed, like the running game's not where it needs to be, and it was it's offensive line. And I'm not saying it wasn't, but there were clearly some issues when they would work on the edge, and you just would say, man, there's more there. Like there's stuff that could happen that's just not working like it should. And you add a guy like Hayden Hansen. I really like Rocky Beers a lot. I feel like because of Hayden Hansen's experience, Rocky Beers gets overlooked a little bit. He was more athletic on tape than I expected him to be. I thought, okay, there's a little more to his game than I thought was going to be there. And then the Jack Van Dorselaer kid, like there's all SEC upside there. Like there's a lot to like. So I really like that. And I think it gives that offense a chance to be complete and not be so, I don't know if obvious is the right word, but like, guys, you knew it. Like there was personnel last year you would see and you thought, okay, this is almost dictated to OU. This is what they're going to have to do because of the people they've got on the field. With these guys, you get that versatility. You can go 12 personnel like clearly Ben Arbuckle would like to do. So I just think it gives that offense a chance to be much more dynamic and a lot more for a defense to prepare for.
Looking at where the roster stands right now, Josh, and it is not supposed to change a lot between now and the season, right? But we'll see. Nothing is certain in this sport right now. But do you feel like overall that OU's roster is in a better place than it was a year ago, knowing that roster was played against what everyone thought was going to be a really, really tough schedule and ended up making the college football playoff? Like, do you think they're in a better spot at this point than they were a year ago?
I don't think there's any question. I mean, you look at it, and sure, you lose some really, I mentioned Grayson Halton, you lose R. Mason Thomas, you lose some meaningful players, but to me, when I look from year to year, and you can, I've seen guys go back, I think Phil Steele has done some stuff like this, where you go back and look at the teams that really make a jump from year 1 to year 2, however you want to gauge that, it's usually they return their quarterback and they return a lot on the line of scrimmage. There's not a team in the country, I don't believe, that can claim more to that than Oklahoma can, with Jaden Jackson, David Stone, Taylor Wine on the defensive side of the ball. PJ Adebaway's obviously played a lot of football, and we know about the young guys. Danny Okoye is a guy that 2 years ago I couldn't stop talking to you guys about when I was on. And then, you look at the offensive side of the ball where Michael Fasusi's there, Ryan Foje. Speaking of a guy that I think has gone under the radar in the portal group, Marion Harris, like that's a kid on tape I liked more than I thought I was going to. I kind of thought, well, okay, he's kind of a, maybe a swing tackle kind of guy. You're like, oh no, he's a starter. Like that guy is going to play and play a lot. So I think there's a lot on that offensive line that you like. John Mateer, I've been honest, like I have questions about the development, what that's going to look like. But he returns. He's going to be healthy. Like there's reasons to believe. You just got to see if he can kind of fulfill that belief, I guess. But when I've seen some of these preseason rankings, I've been a little surprised that OU hasn't been more of top 5. Like just because of what we know about them. There's so many variables with some of these other teams where they lost more than Oklahoma did. You look at Ohio State, as talented as we know they are, they lost a ton on that defense. So I feel like Oklahoma, as much as maybe any team, has a lot fewer questions at the positions that I think are kind of pivotal.
Well, it's kind of funny how things work. You wrap up the 26 recruiting class, you get everyone signed, and it's like, okay, that was fun. We're done with that. Let's forget about those guys because we got transfer portal and we're on to the 27 class. But whenever you look after we've wrapped that all up, and I mean, we're knocking on the door of spring ball happening here pretty quick. Who sticks out from that class? I know everyone, you have these highly rated guys come in and everyone expects them to jump in and start right away. And that's not always the case. And frankly, sometimes it may be better if they don't. But who are some of the names that you feel like are more day one ready perhaps than the rest of the group and may be expected to jump in right out of the gate?
Well, Ted, your question, I mean, you guys being pros here, the two questions dovetail perfectly together because of what Gabe's talking about with all that returns and how much experience and how good this roster is. 2026, you don't have to lean that hard on it. It's not like 25 where I mean, like there are guys I think will have a role. But to me, when I look at the group, the only guy that I would say, man, maybe this guy starts is probably Jonathan Hatton at running back. And that's just because I think there is clearly talent in the backfield with Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock. But Jonathan is so big, so powerful. We know running back's a position where you can come in, and if you're ready as a freshman, usually it's a thing you can make that jump. You guys can do that sort of thing. So he's the one. Now, I'm not saying he'll go start day one or anything like that, but I think it's possible. I see that path for him. There's not many other guys. Like, as much as I love Jaden Pettit and his size and his physicality, he's got 3 veteran receivers in front of him. I don't know how you get him into the starting lineup, but if he has a role, that certainly won't surprise me. But the guy that I think is sneaky that a lot of people don't talk about is Jacob Curry, the linebacker from Florida. He was a kid. OU offers him, I believe, late summer. Like, I want to say it was around June, July, something like that. They were a little later in the game with him. And I went and turned on the junior tape, and you're like, wow, this guy's really good. You see it. His senior stuff is crazy. Like, he is just – I think I do a thing where I track the commitments each week. How did they do? How did they play in their game? He had a game that was like 6 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, and he's playing good competition in Florida. And it was this rainy, nasty game, and like watching the tape, it's just him basically just running through mud puddles all over the field. It was crazy. It was a funny game to watch, but I really like him. And again, it's super early, we know, but some of the early stuff you hear about him just arriving, some of the early testing stuff, I think he's impressed people. And maybe at linebacker, that's a hell of a lot to ask, I know, but at the same time, he's just gifted enough and kind of has that kind of a Kip Lewis motor. I don't know of another way to say it. And it kind of makes me wonder if they kind of start grooming him to be one of the guys of the future.
Jake Crail is a guy clearly very highly rated. Josh, I think very high expectations from the staff for him. And when we had Jim Nagy on here after signing day, he mentioned he thought Crail could be a guy that could help him day one. What have you seen him in person? Like, what has been your evaluation of what you've seen from Crail?
Yeah, with Jake, I saw him about a month ago at Under Armour in my favorite city in the world, Orlando, Florida. But was down there watching him. And, with Jake, people hear like, oh, he's really technically sound, and they like, I don't know that it means a lot. Under Armour has like former NFL players and stuff and former NFL coaches on their coaching staff at the game. Like, so these are not just like guys. These are dudes that really know what they're talking about. And they were singling him out repeatedly, like, do it like this. See how Jake steps here instead of taking this false step over. And like, it was very clear how far he was in front of guys who may be 6'5" and 240, may have the physical measurables that maybe Jake doesn't have. But what I like so much about Jake is he's very, like, he doesn't have any delusions about that. He knows what he is, and he knows, like, I've got to win with effort. I've got to win with my speed. Like, he's not going to go try and play the game like Taylor Wine because he knows that's not where he's suited. He spent a lot of time with R. Mason Thomas when he would come up for visits. They talked a lot, and he's told me, he took a lot from R. Mason and kind of the way he played and the way he would attack the edge and that sort of thing. So I would be very surprised if he doesn't have a role, kind of like what we were talking about with Kenny earlier with, okay, maybe he's a third down specialist. Maybe he is a, late game guy. You bring him on because there is just no question that as a pass rusher, he has an understanding that is absolutely at a college level. Now, can he execute it? We'll have to see. I mean, that's going to be the question for me. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if you see some scenarios where, he or Danny Okoye are doing something where they're coming off the edge. I even would be interested to see like Jake do some stand-up stuff. I think he is very diverse. And like I said, he's so mature to kind of understand this is where I fit. This is what I can do. This is where I'll excel rather than trying to be something he's not.
Yeah. Well, a guy that had a lot of fanfare whenever he committed and ultimately signed at Oklahoma, Bo Bentley, the quarterback. What's the expectation for him? When these kids come out of high school, the guns blazing, right? He's not expecting to walk in and just kind of, find his spot and disappear into the roster. What's the expectation for him early, and what does his path look like in your mind?
To me, I think he becomes your number two pretty quickly. Like, I mean, and again, that's no disrespect to Whit Neubauer. I heard you guys talking about him the other day, and I agree. Like, there's more in his bag than I think most people realize. But Bo just so perfectly fits what Oklahoma wants this offense to be. I don't know that he is quite as skilled a runner as John Mateer is. Like, I mean, you guys talked about it all year, and yes, as everybody's picking up, I am a diehard listener like everybody else watching. So I am in there listening every week with you guys. But the thing with John almost looks like a running back sometimes, and I don't know that Bo has that skill set. But he's a very capable runner. He is absolutely a guy that can go get you yardage. He's a good athlete. But what I see with him, I had a chance to watch him at a couple camps. I watched him in a game this year. I would say, his maturity. Like, he is just a guy that I saw him in a game. They were in a tough one. They were kind of in a dogfight as it went on. And we're playing against another state champion down in Texas. And just as the game wore on, he had a bad moment or two. Didn't let it phase him. Just kind of kept going, kept pushing, was very calm the entire time. I liked that. He just didn't look like he was ever out of sorts. And the other thing I would say as a passer, and this is where I think he is, you would project him to be better than John Mateer is he layers it really well. Like, you can see him drop stuff over linebackers in front of safeties. His timing is very good. Like, and there was no, like, he had one tight end on his team. I think the kids ended up signing with Pittsburgh. Was a good player, but he didn't have a bunch of dominant athletes with him at Salina, and he was dominant for them. I mean, 29-1 in his career as a starter. I mean, there's not much more you can do than that. So I really thought, I like his potential. I realize everybody after Jackson Arnold is kind of hesitant to anoint any, next grade high school quarterback. I get it. Everybody can be patient with him. But I mean, to me, unless something goes wrong, I would be very surprised if he's not projected as the 2027 starter this time next year.
Wrapping up the conversation about the 2026 signees, Josh, is there anyone that was like ranked on the lower end that you were looking at, go, they got this guy wrong. He's going to be a big time player for Oklahoma. Was there any guy that stood out in that way for you?
I can give you two. And shockingly, they're both on the defensive line. Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates doing a good job. Who knew? Matthew Nelson from Bryan, Arkansas is a guy that when they offered him, I'll be honest, I saw the tape and was kind of like, oh, okay, and I knew he had track times. Like I knew it was really kind of led by Jim Nagy, and you kind of were like, well, I see what they're buying into, but I'm not sure. And then you would watch his senior stuff, which included like he had a game-winning strip sack in the state semifinals to send Bryan on to the finals where they really kind of dominated and won another state championship. But you also watched him get bigger. Like when I saw him at camp at OU in the summer, I bet he was 6'4", 220, maybe 225. Watching him on tape as a senior, you're like, he might be pushing 235, 240. And then you throw in, like I said, a guy with some real track times that, again, like kind of another one of those guys that I've already heard some good stuff about his testing. I think he's really impressed everybody. Just, guys, he's 6'5", 235, and he can move. Like, start from there and then let it go. And again, like we said, with Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates, I think we can trust those guys. Like, I think they're going to get what's there out of him. The other I would say is Brian Harris, the big defensive tackle out of Florida. He was a guy that I kind of kept waiting for somebody to make a big run at him. He committed very early, was kind of like Trent Wilson the year before, and that it kind of looked like he was going elsewhere. And then clearly OU made a big run at him. He commits, he sticks with it. There was never really any doubt. And I kind of kept thinking like somebody like Georgia or somebody that's going to come and make a run at this guy. And it just never really happened. And maybe I'm missing something, but I see a guy that's 6'4", about 270, 280, kind of like Kenny Ozawalu, who's played a lot of defensive end in his career. He'll slide in. He's a big, thick-bodied guy that I could see being a really good player, and another one of these guys that, 3 or 4 years from now, we kind of say, how did OU get this guy?
Yeah, I'm with you on him. He's got the build that I really like. Mm-hmm. I don't know what his arm length is, but he's got this like compact, powerful build to him that just the way he looks size-wise reminds me of Tommy Harris. Not making any predictions or guesses or assumptions as to what he's going to do, but the build, I like it a lot. Now, we had a couple of tight ends, Ryder Mix, one of those that had an injury in his senior year. Do you have any idea what that status is coming in? Because I know he was a big name that they liked at the tight end spot.
Yeah, that's such a tough break because it was a Lone Star team that was really good. They went all the way to the state finals, took out Alito, had a crazy comeback, and Ryder just didn't get to be a part of any of that. You can't help but wonder, does the state finals go different if they've got him in there? It never hurts to have an OU commitment on your roster. But my understanding is he'll probably not be ready until about, I would say, around the start of the season, because that was I want to say mid-October was when that happened. So, I mean, it's going to take him some time. But, again, I think Ryder is a guy, for those that don't know, his dad played baseball at OU. They are diehard OU fans. So this is one of those guys that OU fans can get behind. Like, it matters to him. It's not just like, I went to the school that, I like to coach the most, or they gave me the best NIL package. Like, he loves OU. He is one of those kids that would have picked OU 100 out of 100 times. So I think that is something people need to get behind. I like both the tight ends they got. Ruxer, kind of like the Matthew Nelson thing, really led by the front office. Just found him because of his athletic traits, his speed. They found him
on a track guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I'd love to know the database where they just found Tyler Ruxer. And guys, as someone who looks at that kind of stuff all the time, I can't imagine going through all these track times and finding an Indiana and saying, okay, well, now we got to find out how big this kid is. Like, right. Like that, the cross pollination of those data sets have to just be crazy trying to track down all that information. So
sounds like a job for AI in my mind.
It sounds like a job for someone much smarter than me. Yes, that's no good. I'm not doing any of that.
Looking at the 2027 class, Josh, it is how rare is it for it to be headlined by two in-state offensive linemen? You've been doing this a long, long time, man. Have you seen something like this before?
I was trying to run through this not long ago and trying to remember how many like top 100 offensive linemen have been in the state of Oklahoma in the time I've covered this. Now, that's certainly not to include converted tight ends. We're just talking offensive linemen. So,
Stop it.
But this is just, and I mean, I'm telling you guys, we're talking 5, 6, maybe. And I think that's being fairly generous.
The only one that I can think of off the top of my head, and it's because I played with him for a long time, is Bronson Irwin. I would assume Bronson was the top 100 because I remember he had a Bama offer like at the and that was like the height of Bama's powers. You know what I mean? So
I think. I mean, this probably doesn't count. It's going back so far, but Jamal Brown and Wes Sims were in my recruiting class. And I know Wes was a 5-star, and I think Jamal was close to it.
Yeah. And Ted, I mean, you probably remember, like, most people thought of Jamal as defensive tackle coming out of Lawton Mac. So, like, that was
They were right. Well, I mean, that's what he started at and then transitioned really quick. So maybe he was actually listed as a D-line, not O-line. So scratch that.
But no, I mean, like, but you're right. I mean, that's how far you have to go back to even make it. And so to have, for the long preamble here, you've got two guys and Cooper Hackett, who's pretty much a consensus top 10 type prospect in the country out of Fort Gibson. And then you've got Caden Penny from Bixby that is a kind of fringy 5-star guy that I've been impressed with how the industry has, because Caden's not 6'7" and 280 pounds, but people are putting on the tape and he is killing people. And I mean, playing at Bixby, he's facing Jinx, he's facing Broken Arrow, he's facing real competition. And guys, he's a buzzsaw. Like, because people ask me, between these two, how would you separate them? And I would say, okay, Cooper Hackett is the guy that you could say, I could see that guy being like a top 3 pick someday. Like, he has that sort of length, that sort of athleticism. There's a lot of boxes he's got to check between here and there, but the tools are crazy. With Caden Penny, he's maybe the guy in the class right now that I would say, if I had to pick one guy that I know is going to be like a borderline all SEC, just a very good college football player, Caden Penny'd probably be my choice. Because he's extremely well coached and he's very gifted. Like, he is a guy where I know a lot more about him walking in. I feel like he is going to come in, and he wouldn't shock me if he is a Ryan Foje, Michael Fasusi kind of situation where he just finds his way onto the field. So it is unbelievable that Oklahoma has two of these guys. And I've said it a lot. The 2006 class is always kind of my litmus test for how good is this in-state crop. That's the Sam Bradford, Jermaine Gresham, Gerald McCoy, Dom Franks, Chase Beeler. I mean, there was a bunch of good players in that class, bunch of guys that played the NFL, and this class is the closest I've seen to that group. There are, I mean, you go down the list, Oklahoma, I think, has made 10 offers in state now, 10 or 11. It's an unbelievable in-state group.
Yeah, one of the guys that sticks out to me and I haven't seen hardly anything from him. I just remember like the first time he was kind of linked to Oklahoma, like maybe he was coming on a visit or maybe it was announcing an offer, but the Epps kid, and I saw the picture of him. I was like, oh my, he looks like a 25-year-old full grown athlete. And they've got him listed as athlete. What's the plan for a guy like that?
When like you first started to hear his name and you look at On3 and they've got him listed as an edge, I just was like, well, he's an edge. And Taven had kind of hit me up and said, I'm a linebacker. And I said, oh, okay. I hear that from a lot of 6'3", 230-pound juniors in high school that don't realize they're going to be 265 in about 3 years. Like, they just don't understand. And then I went back and watched the tape, and I'm like, crap, man, he's really good. And then another guy had a chance to watch an All-American game with the reality that juniors can play in those games. He was at the Navy All-American in San Antonio, and I went over and watched the kid. And I mean, he makes this play. and it just sticks out to me. I'm behind the end zone, and it's just a practice. They're just scrimmaging during the week, and they run this. I believe it was a double reverse, and he just kind of stays home. He tracks down this receiver, knocks him out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. It was very similar to the Luther Burden Billy Bowman play. And you're like, this guy's 6'3", 230, and he just ran down a linebacker a receiver, and gave up no yardage to do it. Like, it was one of those things you're like, whoa, okay, that's a little different. So he is ranked, in the industry ranking at On3. I think he's like 102 overall. Guys, to me, and I'm not one to rankings are rankings. Like, I give my input, and that's kind of my end with it. But if he's not a top 50 guy in the country, I don't know that I know what one looks like. I was super impressed watching him in person.
Are we becoming California's SEC school? What you look at this 2027 class, there's 13 commitments. 4 of them are in California, Josh.
Well, absolutely. And, you look for years, under Bob, there was that time when Northern California was really good to Oklahoma with guys like Caleb Kelly and Joe Mixon. And, you go down the list, but Oklahoma never really made a big dent in LA. Like, that was never really part of it. But again, and you got to give a guy credit. Stacey Ford's had a big hand in this. He's been huge for that front office and really opened some doors. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch the Damari DeZern kid from Palisades. Holy cow, guy. That tape is a ton of fun to watch. Super explosive. He had a game this year. I think he had 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, one of which he returned for like a 70-yard interception, like a pick 6, and then returned a kickoff for touchdown as well. He had like 8 touches, and I think 6 of them were touchdowns. Like, it was crazy. And, again, playing in Southern California, it's not like he's playing nobodies. So it was he's really impressive. And it is like, it's amazing what they've done. And I don't think they're done, guys. As long as I've been doing this, Ted and I are about the same age. I've been doing this since I was in college, or frankly, since we were in college. And I've watched OU recruit Long Beach Poly for years and years and years. They are leading for one of the top corners in the country, a guy named Juju Johnson from Long Beach Poly. And there's a kid at the same school that is committed to Georgia that's now starting to look hard at Oklahoma too. Guys, I can't name you the last time Oklahoma flipped a kid committed to play defense at Georgia. That's not a normal thing, especially for a kid from California. It really is unbelievable the inroads they've made in that area.
I always, whenever I see, I guess I've got some PTSD when it comes to, oh, this school has the number 1 class early for the next cycle. What are the chances that they're able to hold on to all these guys? Because, we know how it goes. The better these guys are, the better they perform, the higher ranked they are. The offers are going to be pouring in, and people aren't going to stop. They're not going to say, oh, you've committed to Oklahoma, hands off. That's not going to be the case. So what's the likelihood that they see this thing all the way through? Are there any guys that you're worried about?
And you're right. Like, it's almost the opposite. When you commit early, especially if you're kind of an unknown guy, it goes in the opposite direction. You get more calls. It gets
like
more
you're putting
crazy.
the sign out, right?
Absolutely. I would say a few that I've got an eye on. Trayvon Hall, the wide receiver from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh, okay. That like immediately you're like, okay, this is going to be a dogfight. And Alabama did bring him in a couple weeks ago. They've been, really stepping up their game with him over the last few months. Now, you talk to him and he's like, man, I'm committed. I'm solid. He's taking the trip, so people can react to those words however they want to. But he's saying the right things. He's planning to return in a couple weeks. His first time being back at OU since he committed. So I think there's some hope there. Another guy is Keldred Ben, a guy from kind of northern Houston, Montgomery area. And he is a kid that when OU offered him, I think his lone other offer, I'm going to go blank, but it wasn't FCS, but it was definitely G5. Like, he didn't have anything big other than OU once they offered him. Since then, he's picked up Oregon, Texas, Miami. Like, he's rolled in a bunch of big ones. And it's one of those things where people are like, well, who's this guy? And now that he's got this offer list, like, well, we can't lose him. Well, it's okay. Like you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be it won't be a bad deal for OU, but there's gonna be a dogfight. He's clearly interested in Texas. He wants to take a trip up to Oregon. So there's a lot in play. But I would say a lot of the guys built in. It's great to have, like I said, this in-state class where you have Cooper Hackett, you have Caden Penny. There's no real reason to worry about those guys. You're pursuing some other guys in state that you're going to hope to land. That you can, in-state guys usually once they're in, they're in. So I think you can feel good about that and kind of have that base to build from. But yeah, there's 13 commitments. There's going to be 2 or 3 guys OU is going to lose. It's just going to happen. That's just the math, and that's okay. I think what you can take solace in is some of these guys, like Trayvon Hall from Alabama, is still currently, I believe, unranked on On3. I know Kelder Ben is still unranked on On3. So this staff is doing a great job getting in front of these guys, finding them early, building relationships, and I think there's reason to hope that they're going to hang on to most of these guys. But like I said, I don't want to build up any false hope. There's going to be beats. It's going to happen. But I think Oklahoma is staying involved with a lot of other guys so that they can pivot when they need to.
Last question for you, Josh. You mentioned getting in on these guys early, and I feel like that's a piece of what Jim Nagy and his staff were hired to do. What have been the early reviews from the prospects that you have talked to, whether it's guys that have committed, guys that have signed? Like, what has been the general consensus on the way that OU's recruiting operation with Nagy in the front office, and then the coaches, like, what are the reviews on how this thing is all working together?
What we've got to do, guys, and this is something you guys can workshop it. We'll work on it over at Scoop. What do these players call Jim Nagy? Because they're like Coach Nagy. Like you can tell, like when I talk to them about it, they're like, I don't know what to like. They're kind of grasping at straws. Like I don't know if it's honorable leader. Like I don't know what we're going to call Jim Nagy. We got to come up with something for him.
General Nagy.
That's fantastic. That should stick. But yeah, there's no question. Like people really like him. When I talk to the players, and again, Jim Nagy's going to have a lot to do with parents as well. Like because they're obviously NIL conversations are going to come about. What I like when I talk to whether it's some of the agent types, whether it's parents, whether it's players, there's not this. I never hear anything about like being divisive. There are some programs that I hear some things about where, well, we don't work with that guy anymore. Like that school won't work with this player group anymore. And again, I get the inclination, and there's times when that's fair. Like if somebody is just, they're selling you bad goods or they're saying things that aren't true, that's fine. But you don't want to shut down on many people. And I think they've done a really good job of building honest relationships with a lot of the people that are going to be the decision makers in these recruitments. And I just think, and Gabe, you know him far better than I do, but I think Jim Nagy being a very direct, very honest guy, sure, that's going to rub a few people the wrong way, but most people are like, I can respect it. Like, even if I don't like what he's telling me, I can respect that he was forthright with me and kind of laid it out there. OU had to go through a tough situation this year with Jaden O'Neal and Bo Bentley and how to juggle all of that. And I think they were as direct as they could be through that process. So, again, I think the reviews have been really good. I was a big believer in this. I liked this model a lot. I thought it made good sense for Oklahoma. And I think they've done a really good job executing it. And I think people are like, well, the 2026 class was ranked whatever. Okay, fine. I don't think Jim Nagy gives a crap about where it's ranked, first of all. Secondly, I don't think that was a fair litmus test because he talked about it on signing day. He came in late. They had to kind of work with the coaching staffs where relationships were already developed. They had to make moves where they could make moves. 2027 is the first time you've seen this is their stamp. These are their guys. Everybody's moving in the same direction, and it's a top 5 class in the country right now. I think there are plenty of indicators that this is going as well as it could, frankly.
You're the man. Appreciate the time. We don't need to spend any time on what happened at the quarterback position for your Colts, do we?
That
had to be at least be entertaining, though.
But before the season, I was very much on board with let's just tank this thing out. Let's see if we can get the number one pick. And I'm thinking in the preseason, guys, I mean, I was thinking like, let's get Garrett Nussmeier. Like, well, we can still get Garrett Nussmeier. So I guess that's the good news. But it was a bad year, and now we're going to run it back probably with Daniel.
When you guys had the red hot start, at what point would it have been just comical to hear, hey, Phillip Rivers is going to finish the season for you guys? It'd be like, wait a second, what? No,
guys, I'm texting with Toby, and we're it was like Toby is so much more optimistic by nature than I am. I'm like, it's Daniel Jones. Like, this guy's going to turn into a pumpkin. Like, I don't believe it the whole time. And just about the minute I was like, I was wrong. He gets hurt. You're like, oh, good. And, you trade the first round pick for Sauce Gardner thinking like, we're going to make a run here. And then Sauce Gardner's just on a bad football team all over again. Like that poor dude can't buy a break. But yeah, you guys, now I will say you have to give credit to Phillip Rivers, because now we know what that Seahawks defense was. That dude stepped off a plane, had been living on a couch for who knows how long, and just went out and played a fairly decent game, kept the Colts in that game. And you're like, okay. So again, it was a hard season, but it's not surprising. The recruiting guy's a big draft guy. If we had a high first round pick, I could live with it. But now just knowing like we're in the middle of the first round, we're probably not going to get like the future Pro Bowl or anything like that. And it's a tough reality. But as a Colts fan who lived with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck for about 20-something years, we're probably due to just have some crap quarterback play for a little while.
At least you have OU with the chance to have the number one recruiting class in the country, Josh. You can't have everything, man,
Hey, guys, I don't know if you can see the shirt here, but I'm still enjoying the Thunder. I'm not worried about that at all. Wearing my Thunder gear all around Houston, upsetting everyone I come across. So that's okay.
Attaboy. You're the man, Josh. Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys.
Download the Loves app from Loves Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with the discount on fuel. 10 cents off on every gallon of gas and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Loves restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Loves, the heart of the highway.
Steaks are back. Didi Ranch's luxury steak cuts are restocked and ready to ship straight to your door. From mouth-watering ribeyes to silky smooth fillets, this is the best beef Oklahoma has to offer. And here's the kicker. They're now shipping next day air for free when you use code Sooner at checkout. That's right. Next day air, like Amazon Prime, but for steak. Didi Ranch delivers taste and tradition the luxurious way.
We were brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and the OU Sooners official drinkware partner. All right, let's talk real life in February. Winter schedules are packed, sports seasons are rolling, and your family has shown up no matter the weather. Between early workouts, long game days, road trips, and cheering on the Sooners, it's where Simple Modern really shines. The Mesa Loop is built for every loop of your family's life. It takes you from the gym and the office to the practice fields and packed stadium seats. It's easy to carry, leak-proof, and keeps your drink cold from warm-ups through the final whistle. And like everything Simple Modern makes, it delivers serious quality at a price that makes sense. And with 10% of profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, time for some football, guys. Talking basketball, FGTB, and let's start with the OU men. Ted, they've got the week off.
They deserve it.
Take a breath.
Sometimes you say, dang, you got out of there with the big win on the road, got the gorilla off your back. Let's get right back out on the court and try and build on it. But hey, a little bit of time to get the legs back, work on some things, not a problem.
Georgia comes to Norman on Saturday, 2:30 tip-off. Some Valentine's Day hoops, baby. What else could you ask for? What a great Valentine's Day. The Saturday matinee hoops.
Perfect.
What woman wouldn't want to go to that on Valentine's Day?
I could name a couple, but, it's still a great idea.
It's a perfect date.
That's
You
it.
go to the basketball game, and then you go to a dinner afterwards.
Nothing sets the mood like
Mm.
a matinee on Saturday at the LNC.
Especially if the Sooners are able to come away with the win.
Got to be able to close the deal, right?
Gets the juices flowing.
That's right.
That's right. All right. A weird transition into OU women's basketball. I don't know how we got there with that, but here we are. It did not go well for Jenny Bronchek's squad in Nashville this week, Ted.
Yeah. Michaela Blake's pretty good.
I warned you guys.
You warned us.
I told you the girl could
Yeah.
absolutely ball, and we had no answers for her. She was burying threes. All right, let's try to run her off the line. Okay, blow by, finish at the rim, blow by, pull up mid-range jumper. Finish it with both hands. It was just like, my goodness, look at this girl ball. And she was one thing, and then the Galvin girl had 30 points. There were a lot of things that went wrong. Number one, it's hard to win on the road against a really good team if you can't hit shots.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, basketball, you got to make shots, and we were 2 of 24 from 3. Chavez was 0 of 11.
You can if you just like to box score watch, you could typically scan over to that 3-point column, and 2 of 24, you can have a pretty fair prediction of how the game's going to go.
You're not going to beat the number 5 team in the country on the road going 2 of 24 from 3.
Yeah.
8% ain't getting it done. But
and the turnovers have still been a problem against the tougher teams. Like the Texas game sticks out. You know, it's hard to go into, especially on the road. And I know the environments are going to be difficult, but you know, and we also talked about it. Some of it is it's just the way that we play, quick, up and down, moving, pace. You're going to have some turnovers built in there, but man, when they pile up, you pile those up with poor shooting, it's going to be a long day.
A bad recipe. -9 in 3-point makes, -12 in turnovers.
Yeah.
It's not what you're looking for in basketball, I'm told.
No.
Not an expert, but that's what I'm told. Now, the missed shots were clearly a huge issue. Got to score the basketball. But I actually thought, for me, like, hey, you keep shooting. If you keep missing, it is what it is, right? But I thought the defense, or lack thereof, was actually like the more disappointing piece. This group, they got to figure out how to defend at a higher level.
Yeah.
And I get it. The way that they play, they want to outscore teams, but I feel like coming into the season, really high expectations, right? Elite Eight, we're talking Final Four. Like I think it's fair to say that's the expectation for this team.
Yeah.
Elite Eight, possibly Final Four.
Yeah.
You got to defend at a higher level, man. Vandy was just way more physical. Defense was like they couldn't turn it up when they needed to turn it up. They gave up 59 in the first half.
Yeah.
I don't care who you shouldn't give up 59 in the first half.
Yep.
So
the turnovers kind of marry into that. When you turn the ball over, a lot of times those live ball turnovers, you're scrambling on defense. The matchups are wrong and you're on your heels. Sometimes you don't have numbers. That hurts, but you're right. You gotta have some type of answers. And I don't know. Here's the thing though. I keep coming back to this. And you mentioned it, Elite Eight, Final Four. This conference is going to be brutal. Winning some of these games against top 10 teams, top 5 teams on the road is incredibly difficult. And how you can get past the massive V in the court, I have no idea. That's got to be visually difficult for a defender. But I don't know. I keep just going back to just getting the tournament. where the matchups are going to be a little bit different. Everyone hasn't picked you apart left and right, and I think they'll be fine.
It's still really fun to watch.
Yeah. Hey, I thought this was interesting. Talked to Toby after he went to Vanderbilt. He said by far easily his favorite arena in the SEC.
Interesting. Even with the obnoxiously large V at midcourt.
Said it's just totally unique. Like you have a lot of the arenas are just all kind of the same, but it's almost it's got like almost like theater chairs in it, and it's old, and it's just he loved the character of it. Says it's his favorite. I was surprised by that.
Yeah. I didn't like our women's basketball team getting whooped in it. I know that. Like I did, but
that could change your opinion of a place really quickly.
Yeah. I don't like it one bit, actually. Currently, I liked it last weekend, and now I don't like it as much. You know,
it's volatile right now.
I did love the pink jersey details we had. Those are sweet.
Yeah.
With the pink shoes, great look. Big fan of that. I think that's a nice change up for women's hoops. But I guess if you're Jenny Baranchek, luckily you got Florida coming to Norman tomorrow night. That way you don't have to like sit on this for a full week. Like you've got you had to turn the page quickly with the Gators coming into town. Got to move past this, and you got to correct the mistakes, certainly, but hopefully they can get a nice win on Thursday night before having another big one this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be, that's kind of how it is in this conference. You're going to have a bunch of tough games throughout, but yeah, get back on the right side of things, continue to work. It's going to be nice to be in your own gym. And then you got a couple of road games at Alabama, at Georgia before hosting Tennessee. If they haven't quit by the time they get here. But yeah, I don't know. Even though the style of play, whenever it's not clicking, can be a frustrating watch, when they're not hitting the shots and the turnovers are coming, they are at any moment can break out and score 95 and look crazy good. So just got to continue to find that consistency.
Go score 95, but you can't give up 105.
That's right.
That's my thing I'm sure not hitting shots. If you're not hitting shots, it typically affects the way that you defend. It's just human nature, right?
That's right.
But as I have watched them more and more throughout the season, there is a lot left to be desired on the defensive end of the floor. If they want to be a special team, if they want to have a special season, that's got to crank up, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Thunder beat the Lakers.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
In LA. 119-110. No Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the Thunder. No Luka Doncic, or as my children call him, Baby Luka for the Lakers.
That's funny.
But I will never root for the Lakers. Never going to happen. But, dude, it is awesome to see what Austin Reeves has built himself into in the NBA. Dude, that guy is a certified baller. He is a bucket, man.
It's crazy, whenever he was here, you could see flashes that he's a playmaker and he could do some crazy stuff with the basketball, but maybe this says more about me than anything, but never, ever would I have thought that he would go to the next level and have the career that he's had.
He's going to make a lot of money playing basketball.
Yeah, in addition to the lot of money he's already made. Yeah.
Correct. But on the Thunder side of things, great seeing J-Dub back out there on the court, back from the hammy. He had ended up with 23 on 17 shots and had some really big plays late, like pull-up jumper it was about a minute left in the game, which was a huge shot to make it 115, 110. One thing that I hated to see, but then liked to see, was he got hit on that wrist again and looked uncomfortable. Like, shot a free throw after, he was shaking it. I was like, oh no, you got to be kidding me. Here we go again. Because the thought was the time he missed with the hammy would be good for the wrist, right?
Right.
And then he's shaking it and looking like he's uncomfortable. I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. This is turning into the season from hell.
Yeah.
But he was able to work through that and talked about it after the game. Like, actually, yeah, that bothered it, but I was fine kind of afterwards. So that was, I think, encouraging. I would like can I just worry about one ailment for the guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. One at a time, please. One at a time. But yeah, I mean, it is good to see him back out there. I mean, I know we've got plenty of time, but I don't know when the deadline is, but get everyone back. Let's kind of reorganize and, get back to the chemistry that we had early.
I do think it's interesting watching when Shea's not out there. And I thought the depth was on display for him. I think they ended up with like 7 guys in double figures. Clearly, Alex Caruso likes playing in that building still.
Yeah.
He was 3 or 4 from 3, had like 17 points, chirping LeBron James in between timeouts. Like, it was, I think Caruso was at his peak in that game. Just fantastic. Jalen Williams, I mean, Jay Will hit some big shots in that game. I thought some of the threes that he hit later in the third quarter kind of stabilized things when it felt like everything was swinging the Lakers' way and they had all the momentum, and then hit another big 3 in the fourth. Isaiah Joe, it seems like when he gets his volume, like a shot volume, like he's going to put up numbers.
Yep.
4 of 8 for 3, had 19 points. So, like, I thought the overall depth was on display for the Thunder. And then I just love watching Lou Dort harass LeBron James. It's fantastic. He's grabbing him. He's doing all this stuff. Laker fans are freaking out on Twitter. It's amazing. I love it. Keep doing it, Lou. Do it. They're not going to call it every time, buddy. That's the mentality.
That's right. And, there was a time where LeBron James was really maybe the peak of human athleticism, and he's up there now, right? And the older you get and you can't just physically dominate everyone, it's got to be massively annoying for him. It's like, there was a time, youngster. There was a time.
Well, it's probably one of those things where he's got to pick his spots.
Yeah.
When to really use some energy. And he probably sees Dort and he's just like, oh, gosh.
Is it even worth it tonight?
This guy. But you never want to see your star player miss games. But I do think there's value in the Thunder playing some of these games without Shea, just to figure some things out when it comes to like executing without him on the floor. It should end up being a net positive for the Thunder because the non-Shea minutes in the playoffs are going to be critical.
Yeah.
Those will determine games. And so this group being able to experience these situations without Shea on the floor, and for Mark Daigneault to be able to look at it and kind of gather information from these games, I think overall that's a good thing for the Thunder. That being said, I hope Shea's abs are okay. Come back, Shea, please.
There's no doubt that, whenever they're at full capacity and functioning like you want them to, the depth is really how they overcome everyone. Just like you mentioned, whenever everyone starts to rotate out, get some of the guys rest, and you start to get into your bench, that's whenever you really lean on people. And most teams can't stand the pressure that you can apply whenever you get into those rotations.
My favorite Thunder story of the week, Topic is back on the floor, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Playing for the Blue. I think he dropped 22
Nice.
Looked good doing it, but after seeing him, it's a fantastic story. I cannot wait for him to check in to the first home game for the Thunder. Place is going to go insane. I mean, guy's been through a lot going through the treatment for testicular cancer. So just fantastic to see him back out on the court. And you watch some of the highlights from the Blue game. Yes, I watch OKC Blue highlights. I'm a sicko. But, dude, the playmaking, the feel, like, you realize why we drafted him. It's just we haven't gotten to see him out on the court because he had the knee injury initially and then cancer. So I'm very, very excited still about what Topic can be for this organization. It's fantastic seeing him back on the floor after what he's been through, Ted.
Yep. And we got time.
Yeah.
They're able to take it slow and whatever pace he needs to come along. They're in a fine spot right now, and it'll just be icing on the cake whenever you're able to add him to the rotation.
Thunder back in action tonight in Phoenix. Let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
With ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch marries, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubdub.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Well, I mean, for me, it's a pretty easy pick. I think whenever you get your 9th season in college football, you got to be considered a winner. Linebacker playing at Montana, Tuliaupupu, I think is how you pronounce that.
Sounds like you nailed it, dude.
He is going to be going into his 9th season. He was in the same recruiting class as 2018. You got it's pretty insane. And now I'm drawing a blank. Went to Green Bay, traded for, why am I drawing a blank? From
Jordan Love?
No, Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers.
Micah Parsons.
Thank you. What is wrong with me? Same recruiting class.
How much time do you have?
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's a lot. Same recruiting class as Micah Parsons. I mean, he's got to be like 26 years old or more going into his 9th season, and we're sitting here waiting on Owen Heineke. It's pretty frustrating.
Just to put it into perspective, I started doing the radio broadcast for OU in 2018. This guy has been in college since Kyler Murray was playing quarterback for the Sooners.
Crazy.
It's been a while.
At some point, you just got to let it go, you know? And
J-O-B. Get a job, dude.
Well, whatever. Congratulations to him. You know, he's now playing in Montana. It's going to be quite the change from Southern California. But I don't know. I just saw that and I'm like, it's so strange that you have all these cases. It just looks like it depends on whose desk it lands on at the NCAA to some degree, doesn't it?
It feels strange. It really does. Do we have any update on Heineke? You talked to him or his dad?
I think it's just one of those things where I don't think the NCAA calls you and lets you know where they're at in the process. I think you just sit around and wait, and they give you a yes or no. And then at that point, you go from there. So I have no idea. And I don't know if the longer it goes, the better, or the longer it goes, the worse. I don't even know if anyone's looked at it yet. Honestly, you just not my world. I wish I had an update on the process, but I think it's just sitting around waiting for the answer. And once you get it, you go from there.
The NFL needs to turn it into an entertainment opportunity for Heineke. Like he finds out, I've said it before, but he's going to find out right before he runs his 40 at the combine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're going to have a table set up with like an NFL hat and an OU hat. Make your choice, Owen Heineke. Here we go.
Yep.
You must choose now in front of the viewers on NFL Network.
If you run a sub 4.6, it's a yes from the NCAA. If you run over 4.6, it's a no from the NCAA.
That would be amazing.
It's up to you. I think he'll run well, by the way.
Dude could absolutely run.
He can fly.
But it's frustrating now. And we talked through it. Like we feel really solid with the addition of Cole Sullivan. Like we feel really solid about where this group's going to be at inside backer. But you continue to see these guys across college football get granted another year of eligibility, and some of these guys, it's their 8th year. In this guy's case, it's his 9th year, and we can't get Heineke a 4th year of football. It feels silly.
It feels silly. What are you going to say? I don't know.
For the people that watch the video version, this is Teddy's pissed off face that he's showing.
Just the bewildered look.
Yes, people may think you get like really angry and yell and scream. That's not what angry Ted looks like. This is what angry Ted looks like. Just utter disappointment in the NCAA.
That's right. It's like whenever you did something bad and you see your dad, just the disappointing look, not a lot of words, not a lot of action, just the eyes tell the story, I think is how it goes. But hopefully the NCAA does the right thing.
Who do you have? Jeez. Who do you have as your winner? No, that's not right. Who do you have as your loser of the week? People are going to think we're losing our minds, this combination of things. You couldn't remember Micah Parsons. I couldn't speak there for a second. We're in trouble.
I mean, he's only the best defender in the NFL. I mean, it's easy to forget that, right?
Well, Myles Garrett would like to have a conversation, sir.
Other than Myles,
so would Nick Bonito, by the way.
No kidding.
We got to get Bonito on. I got to reach out to Nick. We got to. He said he'd come on when I ran into him not too long ago. So we got to get Bonito on.
Yeah, we do. Loser, I got to go with Nebraska. The Moose is loose up in Nebraska. Former AD Bill Moos has a book coming out, and it's a tell-all. All right, he's throwing out all kinds of crazy stuff in there. Scott Frost just continues to catch arrows after his tenure from Nebraska. Bill Moos said he didn't want to hire him. He wanted to hire Chip Kelly, but pretty much whenever he came and told everyone his thoughts and what the direction he wanted to go, it was basically, you're going to get Scott Frost is essentially how it went. At least that's his story of it.
We just wanted to play him at night, dude.
That's it. We wanted to play him at night. They didn't want to play it, which is another part of the deal. Scott Frost came to him and was like, "Hey, about that Oklahoma home and home, what if we cancel it? We're not ready."
To, and I don't think I've ever said this, to Scott Frost's defense, he was right.
He was right.
When they were not a good football team.
When you know. Pretty wild, and it's like he said he thought he was joking or wasn't serious and got a call back from him, but says they aren't ready for it, and they weren't. And Scott Frost was correct, but you got to get them ready, Scott. That's how this thing works. Okay, you got to get them ready. But I don't know. I thought the other wild thing was the conversation at Nebraska apparently was pretty serious about trying to leave the Big Ten and get back to the Big 12.
There's a lot in that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Frost stuff, the conference realignment stuff, the OU game, and like the domino effect from that.
Little rehab stretch in there as well. There's a lot.
There's a lot. But if you're going to write a book, there's got to be a lot. That's just how it works.
Got to be a lot.
Got to be. You got to put the juiciest stuff in the book. But it is interesting to think of the massive domino effect that has resulted from them just not letting us play Nebraska at night.
I know.
It's crazy.
What was it? The 50th anniversary of the game of the century, right? Joe C's like, what are we doing here? 11 a.m. kick? Come on. Give us a primetime slot. No, actually, you knew the contract whenever you signed it. Joe C is like, well, I got something on my sleeve, folks.
It is like when you talk about whatever the final version of college football ends up looking like. And maybe we never get to a final version. Maybe this thing just keeps.
That's part of the allure is it's constantly changing.
But that will be one of the pivotal moments. And it sounds crazy to say that, but I think that's true. Does all of this, not all of it, but like, do we see all this movement from a conference standpoint? Does all this realignment happen if they just gave OU Nebraska a primetime game? Maybe it all still happens, but it's kind of fun to think about, like, what happens if they just would have given us what we wanted,
I don't think there's any way around saying that. Was it the moment? I don't know, but you have to admit that it was definitely a shove to the SEC. Like, okay, like we're cornered here. We got to make something happen. If we can't get a game like this to be a primetime matchup, then what are we doing? Things have to change, and they have to change quickly. So it was the perfect catalyst.
Anything else? I left out the Moose is loose. Anything else for the book?
Loose. I think that's it for now.
What do you think Matt Rule's doing? Do you think Matt Rule's reading through it like, interesting?
He's thinking this is good podcast material.
Oh, content, baby.
Which I don't even know if he's still doing that. It's going to go one way or the other. Like, if you do it and you have a good season, awesome. If you don't, well.
Podcasting is not for the weak. You got to be able to podcast through the slow months.
You have to.
February, June, July.
Get creative.
Matt can do it. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen any clips on my timeline lately.
I haven't either.
So we can check on it after. How about that?
Needs to have, if he has Bill Moos on, those clips will probably make it around.
I would tune in. Absolutely. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, for all of us Sooners, there comes a time when we need help. We need someone to fight for us, and that Sooner is Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. If you are battling cancer or any other life-threatening condition and your insurance carrier is either slow playing or outright denying your treatment, use the law to get the medical care you need. Marr Law Firm believes you shouldn't have to fight your insurance company while also fighting for your life. Go to see Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. They turn victims of insurance bad faith into champions. And 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code OB10 for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear around. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code OB10. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, for my winner of the week, thought about going with J.H. Klæbo. Are you familiar, Ted?
No.
It was the Norwegian man that was sprinting up that mountain on skis. Dude, what?
That was insane.
If you haven't seen the clip, just go look at it. I mean, it is, that guy dominated that event. It was crazy, but watching that dude uphill like that, and if anyone has ever uphilled on skis, like with the uphill attachment, it's not easy. And this dude is like sprinting up this mountain. It is crazy, bro. That's one of the most impressive things I've seen from the Olympics so far.
What was it? He was sprinting up that hill at like what, a 6-minute mile pace or something crazy like that with skis on. That's
what NBC tweeted. It was like sub 6-minute mile pace when he was running up the hill. Like that's why the Olympics are awesome, dude. Stuff like that.
Couple of things. Number one, how demoralizing is that if you're in the race and you look up and there is this guy just flying away from the pack? And number two, get ready for that post-race PED test. That's the first thing I was thinking whenever I saw that.
Well,
you don't want to stick out too much.
He's, from what I understand, he's basically the Michael Jordan of this sport. Like, he's that dude. And an American got silver, which was a huge, huge deal.
It was.
But
it was, I mean, because he basically, well, literally shut it completely down. I don't know, the last 100 meters or however long that was just like, didn't even go to cruise control, just totally shut the motor off and still won. That was pretty funny. It's wild, man. That's their thing in Norway, man. That's like that's the sport that they love in that country. And that dude's a superstar.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. It's like, I would say it's the clip of the week from the Olympics.
It looks like you say this all the time when you're watching football. There's a guy out there that's playing at a totally different speed. That's the perfect vision of it right there.
It's crazy. But my winner of the week goes to the North Dakota State football program.
Okay.
Just like that, Ted. The Bison are in the Mountain West. All it took was $12.5 million to the Mountain West and $5 million to the NCAA to make the move from FCS to FBS. And the Bison are in it, baby. And I can't wait.
We know that they are a well-oiled machine. They perform really well. I'm curious to see what it's like to step up in competition. I mean, pretty cool. Pretty cool to see the story. If they can make a run through that conference, who knows? I mean, in the current state of things, you could go from where they were to college football playoff. How crazy is that?
I love everything about this because North Dakota State, they've won 10 out of the last 15 FCS titles.
Yep.
Like I'm excited for them to make the jump, excited to see what they can accomplish in the group of 5 because it's going to increase their scholarship limit. It seems like the administration there, and this is only football only, all the other stuff staying where it's been for them sports wise. So like they're going to invest heavily into this. And I'm just kind of excited to see how it goes. I'm excited to see the Fargo Dome get featured on some big games, man. Like it's going to be really cool. But this 2-year transition period.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
It kind of kills the story, dude. What's the NCAA doing? Like, why? I want to watch North Dakota State in 2026 play Mountain West games and go, hey, this could be like the college football playoff could be on the line for him in this game. Like, that's what I want to watch with that in the back of my mind. I don't understand.
Point of it? Is it like an unfair advantage or something? I don't understand. Maybe it's to keep everyone from trying to make the jump. I have no idea, but it does seem ridiculous. If you're going to come up and you're going to compete, you should be able to have a chance.
Well, so with them making the jump with the 2-year transition period, as things stand right now, maybe things can change. I don't know. They are not eligible to play in the conference championship game in the Mountain West. And they're not eligible for postseason play. Now, I think there's some loophole to where if there's not enough eligible bowl teams, someone can invite them and then they can go to a bowl game or something like that. But can you imagine if North Dakota State comes into the Mountain West and just dominates and they're like a top 12 team in the country? They're just mowing through everyone. And they can't play in the championship game, and that results in the Mountain West not getting into the college football playoff. That would be a complete disaster.
It is a complete disaster. And think about how bad it hurts. I mean, you've got to step your game up in recruiting to some degree, but that's a pretty big barrier for guys. Hey, first couple of years we can't play in the postseason. I mean, that makes it difficult. And the Mountain West, I mean, imagine like how rare it's going to be to get a team in. It's going to be difficult for the Mountain West. And you have possibly a team that has the opportunity and you get to get in and get a share of the payday. And nope, sorry, not allowed because the NCAA. Like, why are you giving them $5 million if you can't compete in the postseason?
I don't understand. Also, it's like they don't have full access to like conference or college football playoff revenue until 2032 because that's when the media rights deal expires. You read some of this stuff and you're like, wait, why are they doing this? Right. But it does seem like North Dakota State looks at whatever the split is going to be, like it's coming. And it feels like it's coming quickly. And North Dakota State's looking at it going, we think we got a shot of being in the cool kid club. Let's go all in on it. So I respect that, but yeah, some of these things you're like, it doesn't feel like you should be punished for making the move to the next level, but there are some things that feel very punitive about it, but I'm still excited to watch them in the Mountain West, which brings us to quiz time, Ted.
Okay.
The Mountain West, they just lost Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, Boise State, and Colorado State to what is now the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
They have added, there are going to be, now with North Dakota State being added to the Mountain West, there will be 10 teams in the Mountain West with all the new additions, the backfilling, if you will. Can you name 5 of the 10 teams, knowing that we're talking about North Dakota State? being added. So that's you get one as a freebie. There's your free space.
I can name one of them, North Dakota State. Free space. That's it.
Any guesses? Mountain West.
No guesses. I have no idea. I honestly have no clue.
What if I told you Northern Illinois is going to play Mountain West football in 2026?
Okay. I should have been able to guess that one at least.
Yes, because very mountainous and very west in Northern Illinois. What if I told you UTEP is in the Mountain West?
Yes.
Their stadium's kind of built into a mountain. It's pretty sweet.
It's crazy that I think El Paso is further west than Denver, isn't it?
Something crazy like that. Maps don't make sense sometimes.
They don't.
But Hawaii is in the Mountain West.
That's so far west, it's east.
Air Force.
Okay.
Nevada.
Okay.
New Mexico.
All right.
San Jose State. UNLV and Wyoming. There's your Mountain West.
That's a sprawling conference.
Sprawling indeed. Which, you look at it, I would assume Dan Mullen's UNLV squad probably, I haven't looked it up, but probably the favorite to win the Mountain West, if I had to guess.
Jackson Arnold, baby.
We'll see how it goes. But it all goes back to what happens if North Dakota State comes in with all their big personnel sets, just runs it right at everyone, mauls everyone, and then they can't play for a conference title and go to the college football playoff. 2 years ago, Boise was in the playoff from the Mountain West. It's not irrational to think it could happen, but the 2-year transition period. I don't get it, dude.
Sign me up for the culture shock Hawaii at North Dakota State.
They play inside, unfortunately.
I know, but still, you got to get off that damn plane and walk to the bus.
I like the other way around. How about the guys from North Dakota State flying to Hawaii and playing outside? They may be the happiest men alive. There's going to be some brutal sunbirds for that game.
That is hilarious.
All right, for my loser of the week, thought about going with Canada's women's hockey team.
Blanked.
Did you watch that beatdown?
I saw the highlights.
Oh, dude, I watched pretty much the entire thing. The U.S. of A smacked them around. It was awesome. 5-0. We're blaring Freebird every time we score a goal. It was awesome. We were just pummeling the Canadians. It was fantastic.
Is there any better feeling than stuffing the Canadians in a locker in hockey? Isn't that the ultimate?
No, it's just, it's just like the preliminary rounds, qualifying rounds, whatever you want to call them. We still got some games to win the gold, but man, it was impressive, dude. It was a mismatch, frankly, like physically. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, that's cool. I need to dial in a little bit more with the hockey. I'm really starting to get into my Olympic. I'm in the zone now. I'm starting to really watch a lot of stuff, so I'm feeling good about it.
Good. Love hearing that. But my loser of the week, we talked about him a little earlier, LeBron James. Ted, LeBron missed the Lakers game last night against the Spurs with left foot arthritis. It's the second night of a back-to-back, because remember, they played the Thunder Monday night.
Yeah.
He's in his 40s. He's probably just not playing the second night of a back-to-back, right?
Yep.
He's old. But the reason it's significant and the reason he is my loser of the week is because that was his 18th missed game of the season. Meaning he cannot reach the league's limit of 65 games for postseason awards. Which means a streak of 21 seasons in a row 21 seasons in a row where he has been named All-NBA will come to an end.
Whew. That is incredible. I mean, All-NBA that ain't a long streak of making the All-Star game. That's a totally different animal. That's crazy. And, rightfully so. He's, like I said earlier, the peak of human athleticism in his prime. And his prime lasted a really, really long time. I think he went to the NBA was it my first year? I think my first year in the NFL, or maybe my last season at OU's whenever he went to the NBA. That's
correct.
Crazy.
He's been All-NBA first team 13 times, and then second team and third team 4 times each.
Wow.
21 years in a row of being named All-NBA. That streak comes to an end just because of this new rule. And you can think whatever you want about LeBron James. I know he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I totally understand that. I know there's a lot of LeBron haters out there. But, dude, his longevity is insane. It is unlike anything we have ever seen in sports.
Hey, when you're that good for that long, you're going to develop some haters, and he's got like 3 generations of haters, right?
And the thing that I really respect about him is that for 20 plus years, that dude knew people were coming to games to watch him.
Yep.
Whether he was at home or on the road, but especially on the road. And if he could play, he played. Like the amount of games, the amount of minutes that dude has played over his career, it's nuts. And you don't have to like him, but you have to acknowledge just what he has accomplished from a longevity standpoint is just it's insane, dude. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. Yep. I mean, in the NBA, it's hard to stick out athletically because there are some mutants in that league, and there always has been. But when you go down and you sit on the floor or close to the action, or you see him in person, you're like, what the hell is that? That we are not the same species. That guy's from a different planet.
I say it a lot in sports. We are all made in God's image. We are not all equal.
That's right. That's right.
You see LeBron James up close the first time, especially Miami Heat LeBron James, where I swear he had to be 280, dude.
Thick.
Oh, my gosh.
6'8", jack.
He was
fastest guy on the court.
Just looked just a ridiculous looking human being. But I do wonder, and he's not going to be the only guy that this rule affects. And it happened to guys last year, but I do wonder if the NBA is going to take a second look at this 65 game limit to win the awards. It's also that guys don't sit out games for load management, right? That guys don't miss games they don't need to miss. But some of these guys are actually hurt. Like Jokic this year, he got hurt. Guy hurt his knee. He's not ducking games. You know what I mean? So this rule is starting to get some serious criticism from a lot of people that cover the league very closely, Yeah,
I'd say the spirit of the rule is in the right spot, right? Because people pay a lot of money and they want to see the stars, but whenever you get into the habit of just dipping out and missing some games for rest is a different story than you miss a chunk of 10, 15 games with a legitimate injury. I think you got to be able to knock out some of those dates if they're in a long consecutive streak because of something legit. I do agree with that, but I mean, the spirit of the rule, I think, is in the right place, but you may have to find some extenuating circumstances.
It may be there's a lot of people that are starting to make a lot of noise about the need for the NBA to shorten the season. For it to be like a 70 game season instead of an 82 game season. And then you can eliminate a lot of the back-to-back situations. I don't know.
I remember there was a point, it's been several years ago, but there was a point where there was a strong push and a lot of conversation about them starting the Christmas Day being the opener.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to see any changes from that standpoint. I have a feeling the owners aren't going to go, yes, 12 less games sounds fantastic. But, and maybe the NBA PA also is like, you guys would get paid less if you played 12 less games, right? I don't know if that's going to happen, but it does feel like that conversation is continuing to build and build. So I don't know. We'll see. But back to the point. One of the craziest streaks ever. 21 straight All-NBA seasons for LeBron James. That streak comes to an end. Loser of the week.
Is he? He hasn't announced any retirement, has he? Like, what do you think he's got left? How long will he continue?
I think he'll play. I think he'll play next season, dude. When he's rested and like out there, he's still dominant, dude. Like he's still. I mean, it's crazy. He's still what I don't know if he's. I mean, at the very least, he's what? One of the 20 best players in the league?
Yeah.
I don't know, but he does seem like a guy. He's got a lot going on. Probably I don't think he's one of those guys that wants to have one of those years where everyone goes, oh man, it's time,
Yeah. Yeah.
But who knows? They pay him a lot of money to play basketball.
That's the decision right there. It's like, how do you turn your nose up at $50+ million a year?
LeBron's got choices to make. I think he'll be fine either way. Birthday shout outs. Happy 8th birthday to Bryn Robertson.
Happy 34th birthday to Justin Bozarth.
And happy 78th birthday to Linda Rains.
There you go, Linda.
Happy birthday, Linda. On that note, episode 605 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com, for all of our stuff in one spot. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.